Welcome back. I'm currently in the process of fixing yesterday's second Trails of Cold Steel 3 part because YouTube doesn't like it for some reason. It doesn't like the file. I don't know why. So I'm having to do some really weird stuff right now. I'm rendering it in bits as I'm recording this, so I may have to randomly do a fade in, fade out, or fade out, fade in, as I go sort it here and there and connect up the bits and try and make a new file that, because I tried re-rendering it and it doesn't like that one either. It's like, YouTube, sometimes, could you just not, anyway, so let's get on with it and enjoy this game, assuming I can get this part out, because I'm not putting this part out till the other one goes out, so, I mean, if it has, then you're hearing this, so. Anyway, let's get on with it and go to the Guild branch and meet up with old Class 7. Exclamation. The Guild's crest. They put it up again. I was wondering if they're going to do anything with the spikes coming out of the walls. Are they going to hang banners or something like that? And I sense a lot of people inside. About 97 of them. It's the rest of Hercules. Knock and enter.
Ah, there he is. Come in, come in!
Pardon me?
He was never heard from again.
Oh, Rean! You're finally here!
Oh. Guess I'm last. Sorry to have kept you.
No worries. You're right on time.
Besides, we all know you had your field exercises to deal with.
Well, as fully grown members of society and working professionals, we should be in the habit of arriving 10 minutes early.
Says the man who waltzed in a mere 5 minutes ago.
The guild branch's reopening came at a good time.
Yes, I'm sure most restaurants are completely full around now.
I can hardly believe we were all finally able to meet up again.
I know, right? Especially since we're all so dang busy these days.
That's right. We'll certainly have a lot to talk about tonight. Good grief.
Now, everyone. No need to dive into the serious stuff right away. Come on, it's our first big reunion since you all graduated. Let's cut loose a little.
Perhaps it would be best to start this reunion with a series of tender embraces. And not just among the women, of course. All your male classmates should enjoy the comfort of each other's arms, too.
What? Not on my
Hell
life!
no!
Sharon!
Same as ever.
Yes, it's almost a little surprising.
The time and place may be different, but in the end, we're all the same people.
Well, we have all been chatting it up on that app of ours.
When you put it that way, it kind of takes the drama out of things.
Oh dear. That could have gone bad. Like bad back, something like that. Ooh. Ooh. I'm just waiting for Mango and Eustace. Like, come on. I want to see you two interact. Jaegers.
Fee, you grew taller.
Elisa, you grew even prettier. And Emma, you grew even chestier.
Oh, I was hoping you wouldn't mention that.
That hairstyle makes you look like an old man.
Dude, you're one to talk!
Rean, you and Gaius are just way too tall now.
Don't worry. I think I'm done growing now.
Out of all of us, you seem to have grown the least, Millium.
Excuse you! I grew 1 whole reach! We finally fulfilled our promise.
Yeah. Elisa, everyone, thanks.
Oh, please. For what?
It's not like we all got together just for your sake, you know.
Machias is blushing.
Well, we are celebrating Rean's graduation too.
Yes. After we had left, he stayed behind to uphold the spirit of Class VII.
Not to mention, he's the one in charge of the next generation of Class 7ers.
It's been said before, but you truly are the core of our group, Rean.
Thank you for everything. You guys.
We're starting to sound way too sappy.
Starting to. You guys have all been like this for years.
I suppose there's no avoiding it. Today especially.
In any event, we have the party set up in the back. I've prepared more than enough alcohol, so please enjoy provided you're old enough.
Oh man, I get to have Sharon's cooking again.
I can't wait.
I knew I smelled something tasty.
All right, give me the biggest, frothiest mug of beer you got. You're nowhere near being old enough to drink.
I was gonna say, like, out of all of them, is it only just Millium? Maybe Fee as well, who can't drink. I'm trying to think. Who can't drink? I think it's just them two, isn't it? Well, we can tell here. And basically, the ones who have got... It's like the ones who've got, like, little glasses aren't old enough. That's basically going to be it, isn't it? Yeah, so it's Elliot as well. Simple as that. There we go. Fee, Elliot, and Millium can't drink. And of course, Sarah's got it in hand. Alright, here we go then. They all proceeded to savor the delicious meal Sharon had prepared for them. Between bites and compliments to the chef, they shared what they'd been doing since they last met up. The adults had their fill of beer, some more than others, while the younger members enjoyed soft drinks. Together they flipped through the album Towa had given Rean and reminisced about the past. See, I feel like Towa should have been here and given this to all of them. And it would have been nice. Like through Rean, but she should have been here to do it. And then they could have all been like, oh, thanks, Towa. It would have been lovely. But no, they wanted that private moment with Rean for some reason. Just saying. Afterwards... "9:30 p.m. I believe I shall excuse myself now. Please enjoy the rest of your time here together, everyone. Thanks for all the food, Sharon. Yeah, it was delicious. Let's go drinking together again sometime. Oh, she never changes. Alright, see you later. Is your mom going to be arriving here in Idle soon, Elisa? Yeah, she's taking a red-eye flight here with grandfather. That's such an American term. Just that idea of red-eye flight. I learned about that from Sarah. I'm like, what the hell do you mean by red-eye flight? For anyone who doesn't know, who's like from like the UK or something like that, etc., etc. Basically, nighttime flight. Yeah. Both of them were invited to the party being held at the palace. It's likely Sharon went to go pick them up. However, it's just as likely she simply wished to give us privacy. I suppose. After all, she's at least a little bit related to things we were planning to talk about tonight. Yeah, I agree. And she's getting way too caught up in the past. Oh yeah, Have we checked this place for bugs, mics, all that surveillance-y stuff? Yep, top to bottom. See, this is why I think they should have heightened the security earlier than when they planned to, basically. It's like, once we had that side quest where the bugs were found, it's like, okay, now you have proof something's going on. Heightened security, at least a little bit. I mean, I know you had those guys at that road, but in all locations, you should have heightened security once that side quest was done. I know they can't because of the story, we may not have done the side quest, but still, we had proof at that point. Anyway, yep, top to bottom. There were many such devices found in Heimdall over the course of the day. Exactly. There's got to be a reason for that. Heighten the security. Most of them hidden in government buildings. The Imperial Chronicles office too. With that in mind, we should get down to business. Indeed. Let us begin. A year ago, when all of us, save Rean, were allowed to graduate early, we promised each other that after 1 year had passed, we would have a reunion. Yeah, felt like so long ago, but time has really flown since then. I identified the path Erebonia is headed down and determined how Class 7 will act. That's what you said we'd do. Yes, the night after we survived the trial of the Reverie Corridor. When I first heard you say it sounded like your usual nonsense. To be fair, though, we all had a bad feeling. Apart from Millium, she was jumping around and celebrating. The things we heard in the Infernal Castle that day, we lost Crow. Yeah, and everything the Chancellor Osborne and the Governor General said about the direction they're leading Erebonia in. And about the phantasmal blaze plan and the Chancellor stole from Ouroboros. Sorry, theories are jumping into my head straight away now. We need to worry about both what's happening on the surface and what's going on behind the scenes. Exactly, yes. Yeah. All the stuff we heard about then is finally starting to happen now. See, again, just this idea I've got in the back of my head of like, had they had the budget, they could have split this game in half, essentially, sort of. Not like Cold Steel 1 and Cold Steel 2 and Cold Steel 3, Cold Steel 4. Not like that. Just that idea of like, you could have followed it from Class 7, new Class 7's point of view. We wouldn't have had this scene at all. It would have been them doing something back at camp or just resting or something like that, or just skip to the next day. And it would have been interesting because you come through this game again in future from a different perspective, and then you would have this scene. It would be interesting just having that little duality sort of thing. So anyway, all the stuff we heard about then is finally starting to happen now. Indeed, the incidents that occurred this spring are proof. Let's begin by discussing the political situation occurring publicly. Yeah, I'm not really in any place to say it, but things have gotten pretty darn bad. I'm also curious what role Ouroboros and Calvard played behind the scenes in the Northern War. And the Imperial government military decisions lately are just as suspicious. 12 of those new model railway cannons have been completed recently. The 4 of them used to attack Ordis were carried to Crossbell. So where are the rest? They carried those enormous things all the way from the canyon? The way I hear it, they had a brand new airship with more than enough muscle for the job. A 250 Arge class ship called the Gargantua, I think. I'm hoping we get to see that at some point. I've heard that name before. And it seems like they're working on making even more of them. All these audits happening all over the place lately made me realize mirror, people, information, they're all being channeled into a few key projects. The 8 Metropolis Plan especially. All the tax money in the entire empire has been consolidated into Heimdall and converted into a never-before-seen amount of military funds. My head is instantly thinking, they're gearing up for a world war. Seems pretty clear what's going on. Yeah, all these things point to the same goal. It's like, I mean, I had a few inklings previously. That's what was going on, but it's like the funds being centralized in a military fund, basically. It's like, yeah, they're getting ready, aren't they? That is worrying. The invasion of the Republic of Calvard. There's no mistaking it. Yeah. Calvard's spies being here only serve to reinforce that hypothesis. So that means their goal is not sabotage, but gathering information. Yeah, if they actually went and did anything, the war would be on right there. And then. The way around. They're probably trying to figure out the D-Day when the invasions plan to start. Just like I thought. Touring around the Empire, I'd heard rumors here and there suggesting there'd be a war. Wouldn't be surprised if my mother knew about this already too. Between the railway cannons, the new airships, and the mass production of tanks and panzer soldats, there's no way she could have greenlit all those projects without knowing what they were for. On top of that, there's a huge factory being constructed in Crossbell. But given all that, the question becomes, why? War between these two massive countries could ravage most of the continent. Yeah, that's basically what my theory is like jumping around in my head right now. It's like, but why? How does this serve a greater purpose? It's just that idea, like, what? Why? Like, we've not really had any information in regards to why that would be good. Like, when it was Crossbell, they at least explained why it would be good, like financial, technology, etc, 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 etc. Like, loads of reasons. Whereas Calvard, they've not really given us a understanding of why you'd want to invade them, just that they're the enemy. So it's like, why would you start the war? So anyway, war between these two massive countries could ravage most of the continent. Yeah, because there's got to be a damn good reason to do that. It's true that Erebonia and Calvard have been at it like cats and dogs for hundreds of years, but are they really just going to throw down? Yeah, it's like the little skirmishes make sense between these two countries. But it's like, why jump to the next level? War that size would bring international trade to a screeching halt. So none of the other countries are going to be too pleased. Besides, in order to start a war, they'd need authorization from the Emperor. There's no way he'd allow it without justification. See, that's the thing I'm missing here, the justification for it. But we've seen a little scene with the Emperor, and it's sort of like, doesn't seem as friendly as we thought. Well, that wasn't an issue for the invasions of Crossbell and North Ambria. The justification was fabricated and statements from other countries were shut down. The one who set all this up is none other than Gilead Osborne. As his son, I think I have a unique understanding of just how dangerous that man is. Rean, you don't need to worry so much about that. Feel the same way about my older brother, Rufus Alborea, the head of the Ironbloods. I suspect he's no mere confidant. I wouldn't be surprised to discover it was he who laid the plans for the invasions and the early stages of the wars. Yeah, I'd say the odds are pretty good. Recently, he's been acting pretty secretive with me. He's even been keeping stuff from Claire and Lecter. The most important thing being information about the Black Workshop. That name again. Yet another group lurking in the shadows of the Civil War. Both my brother and the Black Rabbit were lent to the Noble Alliance. The invasion is the surface stuff. These guys are definitely one of the behind-the-scenes topics. That said, the two are more tightly woven together than ever now. It's safe to say, now that the Black Workshop is related to the gnomes who once fought the Hexen clan, seems they've cut ties with Ouroboros and have sided with Chancellor Osborne. They also hired the boss and that masked guy. He called himself Azure Siegfried, right? Can't believe it, but both the masked man and the Jaeger King flew off in what appeared to be divine knights. Between them and the maiden, I get the feeling something especially ominous is building. Oh yes, oh yes. It all reminds me of the circumstances that led to the War of the Lions and the arrival of the Infernal Castle. Something buried deep in Erebonia's history connected to the Divine Knights. I discovered this while searching for my sister. As I've mentioned, the spirit veins in Erebonia have begun to pulse faster and faster. Just like during the Civil War. No, just like the War of the Lions 250 years ago. Following the annexation of Crossbell and Northumbria, it only started to speed up. It's this quickening of the spirit veins that's causing the cryptids, magic knights, and the scarlet pleroma grass to appear. I suspected as much. A link between the surface and what's happened beneath. From the sound of it, the only ones who know the full truth are Vita, Chancellor Osborne, Ouroboros, and the Black Workshop. Man, I wish my memory hadn't been erased. So frustrating not being able to remember anything from back then. Sure, homunculi and combat shells are super connected to all that behind-the-scenes stuff. I mean, yeah, based on what I'm thinking, it's gonna be trouble. No, that's right. Forgot. Black Workshop was where you were created, Millium. Yep, I'm a homunculus. I'm technically not human. But besides the part of me that lets me link with Lammy, my DNA is pretty much the same as any of yours. Starting to think my growth was stunted, though. Don't know how long my lifespan... Oh, don't say that. My lifespan's supposed to last either. Millium. I've heard a bit about that. Oh, poor Eustace. Just that little triple dot. He really cares for her. The Black Workshop. Unforgivable. Yeah, I'm glad we got Millium and Altina from there, but... can't forgive them for playing with someone's life like that. Yeah, I've been starting to think that recently too. Like, I'm fine with whatever happens to me, but I'm worried about Tilly. I see. Seems you have grown after all. Alright, got some information from the branch campus earlier. Why don't you tell us the details, Rean? Ah, you mean about the cemetery? Oh, that. We got the same report in the intelligence division. Question mark. What happened? So try to stay calm, everyone. Rean explained what happened during the day's special operations missions, and finished his story with mention of what they found at Crow's grave. Yeah, I thought you'd have that reaction. Are you kidding me? And Angelica's brooch was there too? From the sound of it, everything leads back to the Black Workshop. Considering how the boss came back to life, maybe the same thing happened with Crow. Both of them are working for the Black Workshop. No, the gnomes. Are you saying they brought both of them back to life? No, I think that's too convenient. It's not that type of story. It's like, no, it's probably going to be more in line to what I'm thinking. Back in the theory part. Emma, do you know of any spell capable of performing such a feat? There is a forbidden spell known as False Soul. It was only ever attempted by wizards in the Dark Ages, and it's never once successfully resurrected anyone. It said that most of the subjects became fiends known as the Nosferatu. Ooh. That name rings a bell. Well, when we met one, there was a bell ringing. If I recall correctly, that was the name of the creature we encountered at the castle on the lake. Yes, that one. That monster. The Jaeger King and the masked men are certainly nothing like that abomination. Guess there's a chance the gnomes were somehow able to perfect the spell. But I doubt it. True resurrection is something only the goddess is capable of. I need to read a black record. Because my head's sort of like just thinking of like stuff I've mentioned previously with the whole, maybe the goddess is the Septarians divided into 7, they try to reforge them, all that type of stuff. So maybe like connecting that idea that if resurrection is only something the goddess is capable of, and that's a fact, assuming that's fact in this, then maybe connecting that to my idea of it's the divine knights that are doing it, like causing the resurrection, like they can't die, that sort of thing. Maybe the divine knights are like probably most certainly connected to the Septarians. I need to go read a black record though. I feel like I need to go back through them again just to add that idea that what Celine said to my theories. I see. Trying Trying to think about this stuff's making my head spin. Yeah, it's hard to keep reading at the same time as my head's going like, what if that connects to that? That connects to this. Either way, something very strange is going on right now. And in the midst of it, Angelica and George have both gone missing. About that, having the guild's informants look into their disappearances. Tell Towa to stay strong. Understood. Many mysteries yet remain, but that should be sufficient for today. Starting to piece things together little by little. Indeed, we shall continue to look into matters until all is made clear. Now we need to decide as a class on what actions we should take.
There are two things for sure. We need to stop the war that's been building on the surface before it starts. And at the same time, we need to find out what's been going on behind the scenes and prevent whatever disaster's being planned.
I agree completely.
Everything else might be really complicated, but those two goals are set in stone.
This is something only we can figure out, thanks to each of us having branched out on our own.
If we each make the most of our unique situations and pool information,
together, we will be able to overcome any obstacle we may come across.
Right, no matter whether it's on the surface or behind the scenes.
We don't have many allies, nor are we alone.
Agreed. Let us find those willing to aid our cause. Wait, Millium, are you okay with all of this?
Yeah, I was sort of like... Millium's still sort of like a little bit of a question mark in all of this.
You do realize, standing with us will eventually mean standing against your fellow Ironbloods.
Which really makes me sort of like... Because I've always had that thought in the back of my head with Millium of like... Where will her loyalties lie if she's faced to choose? Which way will she go? Because it's like we've seen like stuff like with Claire, where their loyalties lie and why. It's like, what would Millium do?
that's right. Fighting cryptids and magic knights is one thing, but...
Think this over and tell us what you want to do, Millium.
You're gonna ask me that now?
It's important.
Huh?
Millium? I don't remember anything before the past 5 years. But I started to think about some stuff. Like what I am, and what it means to feel sadness. I've been thinking about this stuff ever since I met you guys 2 years ago. I want to learn more about myself. I want to keep being your guys' friend.
See, my head's going towards her being like, it's like, yes, and the memories I've got are with you guys, and I enjoyed my time with you guys, and now all I'm thinking in the back of my head is, can those memories that she's lost be returned, and then she'll switch sides?
I like Gramps and Claire and Lecter, but I want to find out what I am on my own terms. I don't like the idea of the Black Workshop controlling what I do and don't know. Even if it means going against Gramps, I'm a member of Class 7 till the end. I'm more than just the Black Workshop's OZ-73, the Ironblood's White Rabbit, and an agent of the Intelligence Division. Rean, Eustace, Elisa, Emma, Fee, Laura, Elliot, Machias, Gaia, Sarah, all you guys. When I cried for the first time, it was all of you who held me close. I'll always put you, my friends, first.
Millium.
I got some worrying thoughts in my head, going other ways now. So that idea of... how to explain it? It's just this idea of like, she's always going to put Class 7 first, so it's like, what are you going to do to protect them is what I'm thinking.
I see.
I swear, I think that caught us all off guard.
I had no idea you felt that way about us.
You may not have grown much physically, but you've definitely done a lot of growing on the inside.
Agreed. In that sense, I think it's safe to say you grew the most out of any of us.
I suppose we needn't worry about you anymore.
It was silly of us to doubt her after all this time.
You guys just can't resist the chance for an inspirational speech, can you?
Well, now that you've decided what to do, you guys seem more determined than ever. For your more immediate plans, what are you all going to be up to tomorrow?
the new Class 7 and I will continue with our special ops missions. I think it's especially important we capture the Calvardian agents.
I agree.
If we let them roam free, whatever they do could be used as an excuse to start a war.
Yep, just like how Celtic was used to start the Northern War.
I'll continue playing my shows around the city and gather information.
I'll come with you and see what I can find too.
I'll keep following Grandfather and hit up some contacts of mine for info.
Celine and I will continue to investigate the spirit veins around Heimdall.
So the plan's for everyone to gather info, and then we'll all meet up and share notes, yeah?
Yes. Let's stay in contact and be ready to move at a moment's notice.
All right, sounds like a plan.
Look at you. You're all so reliable now. But it's getting a bit late. How about we call it a night? I'll set up a call with everyone early tomorrow morning, and we can talk about our plans in more detail.
Yeah, sounds good.
Get some good rest tonight, everyone.
Are you two bracer types gonna stay here for the night?
Mm-hmm. There are beds on the second floor.
I'll be sleeping at home for the first time in a while. I assume the same can be said of you, Elliot?
Yeah, I called my sister. Gaius will be staying with us tonight.
Thanks again. I appreciate the hospitality.
Oh, I nearly forgot. We have yet to discuss your situation, Gaius.
That's right.
Indeed.
We were unable to contact you for nearly half a year.
You were somewhere outside the country, right?
Yes, but it's quite the tale, so it may be better to leave for next time.
But the whole point was we were meant to catch up and talk about these things, so what happened?
We're gonna meet up again before too long, so I'll tell you then.
Uh-huh.
True.
I guess it wouldn't be fair if I heard it first, huh?
Oh, and I was wondering about that little blonde girl you mentioned seeing, Rean.
I was wondering about that myself.
You said she looked 10 years old. Could be a witch in training?
No.
Well, that isn't right, but I guess it's not wrong either. She went missing and we've been looking all over for her.
Sheesh, her and Vita both just wander wherever they want without telling us a thing. But whatever. I'm sure we'll have to introduce you to her soon.
Now I'm even more curious.
Got it. I'll be looking forward to it.
I think I'm right on the money with that one. Like fairly well. There's a car for you, sir. Oh, will Millium be joining us? Very well. Who's watching? Whenever it looks at the sky, there's always someone watching. Well, it wouldn't be a Class 7 reunion otherwise, would it?
Something wrong?
No, just a nostalgic smell wafting around. I understand what I am, and the situation I'm in.
Is that so?
Copper George.
Would it be selfish if I said I'd rather you hated me?
That question itself is completely pointless. Give me Albrecht's orders, Copper Georg.
Georg, alright.
Tell me what role I'm supposed to play in tomorrow's act.
All right, No. Azure Siegfried.
And that's where we're going to be ending this part. We'll see you in the next part. Ta-ta for now.